There was that woman who was beautiful in every way, beloved of her family because of the loving care that she gave them, revered by the community because of her graciousness and her charity, and her husband adored her. One day, her husband was out in the marketplace when he saw in a particular place a beautiful piece of cloth, and he thought to himself, "This will make a lovely robe for my wife." So purchasing the cloth, he took it to their tailor, well known to them, and asked him to make a gown for his wife. Now, as the gown was being fashioned, it so happened that a wizard came into the tailor's shop, and seeing this gown in the making, he thought to himself, "This must befit a most beautiful woman." So he paid the tailor a great deal of money to sew into a hidden seam a spell. Now when the husband came to pick up the robe and take it back to his wife, she was delighted, saying that she would wear it at the next festival day. But she had no need to try on this gown, because she knew that the tailor knew her very well. But on the day of the festival, when she donned this gown, suddenly, just as her husband was wanting her to accompany him to the synagogue for the festival, she felt this great urge come over her. And so she said to her husband, "Oh, husband, I have a headache. You go ahead of me, and I'll follow you later." So the husband went off, but she found herself unable to do anything else but follow where the gown led. And it led her to a strange side street in the town, and when she arrived at a doorway, she knocked on the door, and the door was opened by the wizard. She fell into his arms, feeling this great passion for him, so they embraced, and he led her into the bed chamber, where after much embracing, she started to take off her garments so that they could fulfill their coupling. But as soon as she took off the gown, the passion left her, and she felt ashamed. "Where am I? What am I doing here?" And so she quickly donned her gown again to make her escape. But as soon as she put the gown on again, the passion came over her again, and they began again their embracing. And again, when she took off the garment, the passion left her, feeling ashamed. "What am I doing?" Suddenly, she realized it was this gown. She dared not put on the gown again, and dressed only in her undergarments, her chemise, she made her escape from the house. Fortunately, the streets were empty. Everyone was at the festival, so she was able to return to her home. Of course, when her husband came back, he asked her what had happened, but she was too ashamed to tell him. She kept quiet about this. But as it happened, the wizard took the garment to the marketplace, thinking that if another beautiful woman picked it up, he would have another victim for his passion. But again, as it happened, the husband was out in the marketplace and saw his wife's gown and wondered what had happened. He bargained for the gown, and when he took it back to his home, he said to his wife, "Where is the gown that I had fashioned for you?" But she made excuses, pretending to go into her wardrobe and coming out and saying she didn't know where it was. So her husband took out the gown and she fainted. But when she came to, what could she do but admit what had happened? Ashamed, she swore that nothing had happened. But it was realized that it was the garment. So, with the garment in hand, the husband and wife took it to their local rabbi, and together they examined the garment minutely until they found the hidden seam, and inside the seam the amulet, the spell. Now, of course, we can imagine what happened afterwards. They took the garment to the tailor, who had to admit that he was paid a great deal of money to place this spell in the seam of the robe. And, of course, this led back to the house of the wizard, who, when there was a knock on the door, opened it with great expectation, thinking that it was some beautiful woman that had fallen under his spell. But instead, it was a deputation that took him away to give him suitable punishment. As for the tailor, he was never again able to make another garment. He had to become a courier, carrying people's goods. So a question that arises from this story: do you have in a garment a spell? And when you put that garment on, something comes over you. Perhaps it's even an undergarment that you wear all the time. A spell that maybe says, "You're not good enough. Don't say that. Nobody wants to listen to what you've got to say," or some such if you still have this garment that you put on from time to time or wear perpetually, who and what is the rabbi to whom you will take this garment so that it can be inspected minutely to remove this spell, this amulet? Do you still have such a garment? If so, who and what is the rabbi in you that you can take this garment to have removed forever that amulet, that spell? Who is, or what is this rabbi in us that we're able to take this garment to remove the spell? Seeking outside ourselves for that someone who can remove it for us, and coming to this place where there's nothing left for us to do but acknowledge, defer to, confront in us that has the final authority and ability to take out that piece of